Hello, boys. Did you miss me? Thought I'll share with you how the story of Tower Hamlets Badminton Club is panning out. There isn't much more to go. I do want to move away from all of this, but I was so hoping that things would not take the turn that it has. The more I look into things, the more dirtier it seems to be. I just thought I'll take a moment to share some of those things. Anyway, before anything else, let's recap on some of the things I've been telling you. Now, one of the key things that I started out with all these videos and anything else that is going on is to change things. Tower Hamlets Badminton Club is not the only place where this sort of thing is going on. And as I've told you, a lot of the problems that you see here are actually problems that we face as a society as a whole. Now, a long time ago, I heard that change the way a person thinks about things and things will never be the same again. Now, I'm hoping that after a lot of people gets to hear what I've been telling them, because I'm sure a lot of those people didn't know a lot of the things I've been saying, including myself. I didn't know a lot of these things until I started digging into things. I've told you about the misuse of facility, misuse of funding money, and the misuse of opportunities. This sort of thing, not just Tower Hamlets Badminton Club, by the way, this sort of thing has ruined so many opportunities for young people within the borough. I've told you that there's been mistreatment of people, not just me. You've heard all about me by now, I'm sure. There's been so many people before me that's been mistreated. And the one in particular in 2014, a guy was told to leave even though all he did was defend himself. And when I stood up for him, that's when they turned on me. There was no question about that. There is also the question of how so many people find it so easy just to turn a blind eye or be complacent and or even go along with it simply because they benefit from the wrongdoings. There is also the question of so many people telling me that, why is it only you who's talking about it? It doesn't bother anybody else here. Now, they haven't explicitly said that I am actually lying about any of these things. I wish they did. I wish they did not hide behind other people making silly noises and they just came forward and said, you are lying about this or that. But they didn't. And there's only one reason why. So, how could they do all this? I mean, surely anybody who goes through all of this would have some kind of moral responsibility or think, well, at some point I would be held accountable. But these guys, they had something to go on. Something was giving them the ability to do whatever they felt like. It turns out that the council actually lost records of this place. Osmani Sports Hall was not in the record books for some reason. I mean, it took many attempts for people to actually find that it was on the books, and to some extent, I helped with that. Now, 2008 and 2009 turns out to be a lot more significant period of time than I thought it was. So, on the one hand, within Tower Hamlets Badminton Club, you had Big Brother Bubble Hawk trying to make sure that nobody interferes with their management ambitions. I told you about some of the people that eventually had to leave the club, which all started around that sort of time when they came into an AGM and had ideas of changing management. And these guys, the chairman, Bubble Hawk, told people, we've set up a trust and nobody can nominate any officers, etc. Now, you've heard of all of that before. Around that time, Lutfur Rahman was the leader of the Labour Party, the leader of the council within the Labour Party in Tower Hamlets. You also had Dinar Hussain, who was in charge of youth services within Tower Hamlets Council. Now, he was in charge of Osmani Sports Hall. If the Osmani Sports Hall was taken off the record books, it would have had to be Dinar Hussain. Why would he do that? We know that Abdul Haq and Amirul Chaudhry are good friends with Lutfur Rahman and probably with Dinar Hussain. I mean, if you look at some of the stories that are going out about the investigations going on in the Tower Hamlets Council, particularly with the ex-mayor Lutfur Rahman, you see Amirul Hussein's name in a lot of these places. So, you'd have to think, well, these guys don't just do something like this without some kind of financial gain or some other very big gain. Although I can't prove anything, but they probably had some big ambition about how to funnel money through something like this. I have no idea. Now, on our side, I don't think it would have been just Amirul Chaudhry and Babul Haq just asking for this place to be given to them and that's it. For whatever reason, either for voting gains or some other financial gain that I don't know about, Dinar Hussain decided to somehow hand this place over to a user group, which is what I found out later. Apparently, there was a user group who was managing the sports hall. And the council was paying something like well over £40,000 to maintain this place. Why would they just hand it over? I have no idea. So, what next? Well, unfortunately, it seems certain that the Osmani Sports Hall will now close to community use during the weekday evenings and weekends. And no, it was not me who actually got this place closed. It was already decided before I got there, it seems. And the very reasons that led to the closure would not have happened if people like me had their way. Anyway, I would have loved to play a lot more badminton with these guys. There are a lot of people in this club who would not have told me to leave. I mean, they may not have appreciated or understood a lot of the things that I've been saying, but they would never have told me to leave because they know that I've never taken anything from anybody or cheated anyone. I only just gave things for free. If there was anyone who actually gave things for free in that place, it was me. Everybody else just wanted something back for whatever they did. So is this over? It's not by any means. I'm going to make sure that clubs like this do not go on to mistreat people within the club. I mean, if you've got members in the club, there are some rights that these members have, and they need to be told what their rights are. Anybody who mistreats them will be held accountable. Any other club coming along trying to set up or do similar things, they better think twice because other people will now speak about it. The first part in dealing with the problem is to talk about it, because no matter how simple the problems or how open the problems you might think they are, and a lot of people might not actually know what the problems are. I'm discussing a few things, trying to make sure that just watch this space. I'll let you know if any of my discussions bear fruit, and talk to you soon.